Hello everybody. So it's come to my attention this morning, I think someone shared it on Twitter or Facebook. Basically it shows the vestments of the clergymen at the reopening of the Notre-dame cathedral in Paris, and it conflates it with Freemason symbols, and not just the colours but the order of the colours and the symbols as well. It seems to me a bizarre coincidence, and there is some truth in it. And I'm gonna take this video to explain why there is some truth in it, but also why we shouldn't get too hung up and run away with this story and start saying that the Roman Catholic Church is completely infiltrated by Freemasonry. I think we need context to this story. We need understanding. So these vestments, which look a bit like Google, sort of primary coloured, what is it, sort of like red, yellow, green, blue, looks like Duplo. I mean, I don't think many of the artistic people would appreciate such blandness and cheesiness. It's not exactly the pinnacle of beauty. I mean, it's ugly, and I've never seen, in all my years of going to Roman Catholic and Anglican churches, I've never seen priests wear vestments like those. But like I said, we need context to this. So why are they wearing those vestments? This is the big question. Why? Who approved it? And how did it come about? Well, I'll tell you, it's to do with the French government. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but the Catholic churches in France are owned by the French government. This happened after the French Revolution. It was their way of taking property away from the church, away from the monarchy, and they achieved that. So basically what you have is thousands of old churches that are sustained by the government. So any restoration required is paid by the government. So you often see in France churches look pretty good. They tend to look better than the churches we have in England, and that's the reason, because the government own the churches. Now with Notre-Dame Cathedral, as you know, there was an awful fire, and the government actually wanted to change the inside of the cathedral. I was watching Dr. Gavin Ashenden on Catholic Unscripted the other day, a very educated man, ex-chaplain of the Queen, Catholic convert, lovely guy, and he was basically saying that the government wanted to literally whitewash the whole church. They wanted to sort of remove paintings, they wanted to change the aesthetics of the altar. They wanted less pews in there. They wanted to put like modern art, modern statues, all this kind of thing. And the bishop really dug his heels in the ground and said no. He said, we're not going to change this church. You know, it's this church is over 700-800 years old. You know, it's seeped in historical beauty, and it's a sacred place. So he said, no, I'm not going to allow you to do that. So what the government did, and just remember, it's the government that's paying for the building. They do have a lot of power to manipulate. And they basically said to the bishop, they said, okay, fair enough, but can we at least have a say on what vestments you wear? So this was the compromise. The vestments of Google colours was endorsed and advocated by the government. Okay, President Macron very much involved in it, and it was their choice. Now, not only do they look disgusting, these outfits, they are Masonic. They are deeply Masonic. If you look at the thumbnail of my video, I can't show it right now, it is a reflection of Freemasonry. Now, I'm not going to make this video too long because I know people don't want me rambling about Freemasonry. But let's just get to the nitty gritty, okay? Catholic Church is against the Freemasonry. You are in fact banned from joining Freemasonry if you are a clergy, a member of the clergy, right? They have a very strict protocol on it. It's inside catechism. It's dogmatic. There is no ifs and buts. Withstanding that, can they still be infiltrated? Yes, they can. How can they be infiltrated? Well, I suggest you read the book of Dr. Taylor Marshall. He did a book on the infiltration of the Catholic Church. The name of the book is called Infiltrated, and it goes into the Galliant Mafia. Now, in Switzerland, there is an order, a priestly order, where we suspect many of the members are Masons. How do we know this? We know this because one of the guys, I can't remember if it was Father James Martin or something like that, he was caught with Freemasonry documents in his suitcase. Furthermore, there's been hundreds of pedophile scandals. McCarrick, who was a parish bishop in America, not anymore, but he was involved in gay sodomy of young children. In fact, the Catholic Church, rather than excommunicated him, they just sort of removed him from his position, but they never excommunicated him. He's still part of the church, still very much involved with the church. You could look this up, Father James McCarrick. Okay, so we know that there's a link between Freemasonry and child grooming, and it's come out of Switzerland. Has it got into the Vatican? I don't know, but it's possible, because you've got to remember the Catholic Church is an all-male order, and it's very sort of, when it's all-male and you're living in close territory, normally in dorms, you're going to inevitably become part of secret societies. That very often happens. It happened with the stonemasons years ago. It's happened throughout history. You can go further back from Freemasonry. You can go all the way back to the Knights Templar. They were all male orders that would have fraternity rituals, and they would do stuff, secret stuff, to infiltrate. And it's been going on for years and years and years. But so yes, of course, it's plausible that Masons have got into the Catholic Church, but we have to be careful who we point the finger at, because at the end of the day, like, the Jesuits are not Freemasons, so we can't even say Jesuits are Freemasons. They're a completely different thing. In fact, Jesuits are pretty good. They do a lot of mission work, so I've got respect for the Jesuit priests. However, Pope Francis, who was an ex-Jesuit, I have to say there is question marks over his head. Massive question marks. Not only the fact that the lack of education of the man for a pope, he doesn't even hold an honours degree. He can only speak like 2-3 languages tops. He is a complete dummy, and it kind of makes me think, like, a bit like Joe Biden. You think, how do these men get into the position they get into? And that looks suspicious. When the conclave happened, was it done in a judiciary way? Was it done above board? Was it voting? If it was done by voting, could it be possible that Francis got picked because he was a puppet? Or maybe he was liked because he was stupid. And let's be honest, you're always liked a little bit more when you're stupid. I've never seen an intelligent person win Big Brother. Good example. It's just no one likes a smart ass. Let's be real. Yeah. So yeah, it all looks suspicious around Rome. It does look suspicious. I think my personal opinion with the Catholic Church is, I do genuinely feel they are on a whole against Freemasonry, and they are trying to stop it in its tracks. But they do know, a bit like cancer, it will spread, and this is a perfect example. If it won't spread on the inside, it will spread on the outside through government intervention. And a good example of this is obviously Notre-dame. They've allowed the government to dictate things, and you know what the French are like. They will do anything to undermine the church. We saw it in the Olympics with the Last Supper, the mockery of the Last Supper. The French have always had a distasteful attitude towards the church. Since the revolution, they got the highest amount of atheists in Europe. We have to understand, a worldly secular country, this is going to happen. And sadly, the Catholic Church are victims of that. And all I'm going to say is the Catholic Church needs to be more switched on and more weight to it. I think the Bishop at Notre-Dame's done a great job, but he dropped the ball here. He was very naive. He was very naive letting them pick those vestments. because what you've done is a Freemason ritual, guys. When you were consecrating that Eucharist in front of people like Donald Trump and Prince Harry and Joe Biden's wife, you were in fact taking part in a satanic ritual. So yeah, this is my 2 pence. Put in a comment if you think I'm wrong on this one. Like the material if you think it's good, share it if you think it's good, and if you want to see more content, subscribe. We're going to do much more, but I do recommend you watch Catholic Unscripted. It's a lovely guy called Dr. Gavin Ashenden and his 2 friends, Catherine Bennett and Mark Lambert. They've got great material, and they're not too Catholic, if that's so. You can kind of stomach them. Me as an Anglican, I could certainly stomach them. But yeah, take care, guys, and I'll see you soon.